and I was like the most shredded I've ever been, and like my ex won, so I was just expecting to win.
Yeah.
And I got second place.
Right.
And it hurt. I was upset, but there was never any thought of like, you suck, you weren't good enough. Never. It was just like, wow, this really hurts. I'm going to go harder next time.
That's all it was?
Yeah. Wow, this really hurts. I'm really upset because I'm crushed because I believed I was going to win it.
Yeah.
But I got next year. I'm going to do it next year. I hate TVs at the gym.
Why?
They're just distracting.
Okay.
Especially when
For
it's
you?
CP24 playing and it's just
that's
negative.
lame.
No, but they have like the TV above the dumbbells.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, but like they have this like, it's like an athletic channel. So it's okay.
Okay.
But
yeah, anything but CP24.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just being nitpicky. But it had this quote. I looked up at the right time and it had this quote that said, okay, I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to try to remember exactly what it said. It said, the body hears everything the mind says.
Manifestation.
No,
right?
like everything. Like if you're negative, your body will show it. Your body hears it.
It's manifesting.
Yeah, if you're I don't know. It hit me. Like that was like all of a sudden now one of my favorite quotes, and I saw it by accident.
That is good because that's exactly stuff that I've been going through and stuff that you brought up before, where it's like if you're saying things even as a joke, which there should be some comedy in your life. There's a level of self-deprecating that's probably fine, but there is a line probably where it's like, you're saying this a lot.
Yeah.
And you're at some point, you're going to start believing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with a line of self-doubt. I think
don't be respectful, be disrespectful.
No, because I want to respect you. You're my future husband. I want to respect you. But
I appreciate you.
I do disagree.
Okay. Why?
I think I think it's too risky to play with any level of self-deprecation.
So you would recommend an approach of strict abstinence, no moderation when it comes to self-deprecation.
I think you need to always have an internal monologue of confidence.
What's yours sound like?
It's gonna make me sound really like
I'm a badass bitch.
No, I never say that. I never say that. I like the joking of like, oh, I'm such a badass bitch, but like, no, I don't like that. I in my head, it's just like, you're awesome. You can do anything you put your mind to. You're never gonna fail. If you do fail, it's gonna still be a positive. Like
that's powerful, eh?
Yeah. Like right now, I'm just like, you're killing it. Like, yeah, keep pushing. I know you can push harder. That's like literally.
You're good at self-coaching.
Yes.
True,
Tim.
You are. Yeah, you are good at that.
Yeah. Like I've never, I don't know. Like I've never thought, I've never had a thought in my head that said I suck. Not once.
Interesting. Even
not once.
Okay. So what comes into your head, or what's the worst situation then? Because that's interesting. You've never experienced that. What comes into your head like during a moment that you can recall where you're like, ooh, I felt small and weak.
Yeah. It was the first, it was the 2018 pro qualifier.
Yeah.
I was expecting to win. And this was my first pro qualifier. And I had been pretty much winning or second place up to it.
Yeah.
And I was like the most shredded I've ever been. And like my ex won. So I was just expecting to win.
Yeah.
And I got second place.
Right.
And it hurt. I was upset, but there was never any thought of like, you suck, you weren't good enough. Never. It was just like, wow, this really hurts. I'm going to go harder next time.
That's all it was?
Yeah. Wow, this really hurts. I'm really upset because I'm crushed because I believed I was going to win it.
Yeah.
But I got next year. I'm going to do it next year.
Right.
Next year I got second place. Okay. I'm going to do it later this year.
Yeah.
Got second place. Okay. I'm going to do it again. The show was canceled. And then I didn't compete 2021.
That's brutal.
And then 2020, or 2022, I did win. But something else was out of my control, right? To not get the pro card. It was not enough females.
Competitors.
Not enough competitors in so, but not once was I like, oh, like this, like, oh, it must be because I suck and like this sucks. And like, I hate the word suck. I hate the word suck.
Mm-hmm.
And I really dislike when people verbally out loud say, oh, I suck.
Yeah.
I just can't.
My experience with that is like, obviously, as you know, is like, I have a default to poor thinking.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I know. Yeah.
There's like a good example actually is like you actually had a conversation with a few people at my strength gym, Scory Break, where I train, right? About a few other females there. And they're great lifters. And
they're great people.
Yeah, they're awesome. And you were like, you brought that up.
I got mad.
Where you're just like, you guys shouldn't be talking like that.
And to one of the young guys there too.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I to all of them I said
I see it now.
I said
see it now that you called it out with me.
I suck at deadlifts. Oh, I suck at squats. Oh, I'm just a piece of shit lifter. And I'm like, why don't you start saying you're a strong lifter? And then they still twisted it. They were like, I'm a strong piece of shit. And I was like, well, it's a step up, I guess. At least you're saying you're strong.
Yeah.
I just can't, especially then like everyone feeds off that energy there.
Totally.
And it's like,
I think even just hearing it can be harmful to a degree. Exactly. That energy's still in there.
You're like, hey, I don't want to hear that because now you've received that and you have to process it in your brain.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. I see it now. I can see it a lot easier in other people and I can see it myself a lot better for sure. But now I can actually see it a lot better in other people since you've called it out in me many times. Because I would hide behind, historically, the whole, most of the time.
It's humor.
Not all the time, but
right?
I would say it's humor,
yeah.
in which it is. But you would be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Humor or not, it's still the words. You're still saying it and you joke about it enough and you believe it.
And selfishly, I'm hearing it.
Right.
So and I don't need any exposure to that.
Right.
Especially trying to go pro athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I need, even if you're feeling that way, I need either say nothing or I need just like, oh, I'm upset how this went. I'm going to try harder tomorrow or something. And I know it's hard to ask for that. And I know that people get these thoughts for sure. They all the time. How can I get rid of these intrusive thoughts of negativity towards myself? For sure. And I think that the first step is like exactly what you're saying. It's like just being more aware.
Well, what you described is actually awareness. Like the first thing. I don't even think people do that.
Like, what do you mean?
You said like the people would ask like, how do I get rid of these intrusive negative thoughts? But like, I don't even know if most people are there. Like, I didn't even know I had them.
No.
I know I had them.
Okay, so the first step is someone points it out to you.
Until you said it, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And then you're like, yeah, and a lot of like,
But, and obviously love your family. Your family does it.
Right.
So it's like that was your environment. So you just kind of are doing it, right?
Yeah, and it seemed normal.
And it's not, it's not like, I don't think any of you guys are trying to like actually attack yourselves. I don't think it's coming from a bad place. I think it is kind of coming from a humor place, but it's just like, it happens.
No, you know what it is? It's well-intentioned with with bad results. Or it's well-intentioned with bad consequences.
Yes.
And those consequences we aren't necessarily made aware of.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's like we don't see the consequences, so then we assume because it's well-intentioned that it's harmless. That's what's happening, I think.
I just don't think it's harmless.
I agree. Yeah.
And like both my brothers, I've never heard them say that once ever. Even like, so say Ad has a bad golf game. I've never heard him say, I suck at that or whatever. He just says nothing. And no, I've never heard him say. Yeah. Never. Yeah. I've never heard either of my parents say it.
Yeah. Interesting, eh? Self-talk.
It's not even like we were told, like, don't say bad things about yourself. I don't ever remember that. Maybe they did when we were young.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like a spiral thing. Because like I can recall situations in like sports where I've thought these things, but I didn't even recognize that they were bad. I knew I was uncomfortable and I didn't feel powerful or confident or whatever, but I didn't recognize that why I felt that way started with how I thought. I didn't realize that. I just felt like I feel this way and I wish I didn't feel this way and it sucks I feel this way. I don't know how to not feel this way, but I didn't recognize that it was like I kind of created it by allowing these like negative thoughts to enter, and then I would entertain those thoughts. And then once I entertained them, I would listen to them, and then I'd listen more, and then they grow roots, and then they're there.
But do you think then there was a reason for the thoughts? Like you were putting too much pressure on yourself because you wanted to like be good at this sport?
Yeah.
Is it always like a pressure issue, do you think? I guess so. Because like people want to do good at something and then they don't do great at it the first couple times and they're just like, I suck.
Maybe it's an issue with handling failure. Because even I recognize that now too, is like with changing my mindset and my thoughts around performance in powerlifting, I'm recognizing that my battle that I'm going through right now is when I'm leading up to a heavy set that I'm nervous about. The actual battle that's going on in my head is I'm thinking, I know what I need to think. I need to think of successful thoughts that I can do this. And I'm aware of that. So I'm trying to run through that and visualize a successful lift, how I want to lift it, how I want to perform it, how I want to complete it. But then I think about it and there's part of me that goes, you could fail this, you know? So, and that shouldn't be that thought shouldn't be entertained at that time. But I think the problem with that is like the root cause is like not being able to handle that failure. Like a good example is what you said earlier, where you're like, I came in second place, canceled show, whatever, right? So like endless failure. So it's like, but the key was, it sounds like you didn't handle it maladaptively. It was like you handled it very confidently. So I think that's the problem, is like, maybe there's like a correlation between like people who have negative self-talk and people that don't know how to handle when they fail. And then it inevitably stifles success.
Yes. It's something that Stu said too, where he's like, you have to allow yourself to what did he say? You have
succeed.
To allow yourself to succeed. Yeah. Like that one or two or three or 10 or 100 negative thoughts is not allowing yourself to succeed. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's okay, no problem. I'll do it next year. Okay, no problem. I'll do it. Like I'm going to do it. It's just like,
this is what I realize is like, I'm grasping this a lot more now, is it's like, there's a level of like rational and logical thinking that is harmful because that's what gets in my way. Back. Exactly. Yeah. I'm looking for evidence and rationale and logic to guide me, when it's like, I think if you want to succeed at anything, so if it's powerlifting, bodybuilding, something else recreationally, professionally, maybe even in a relationship, whatever, I think there's like a level of like irrationality and like untethered positive thinking, where it's like, no, there's no reason to think that, but like you're just going off and letting yourself just be like, I can't lose. It's impossible.
Which is interesting because you're a man of faith,
Right.
right? Like having faith in God is by nature a little irrational, right? You can have proof and whatever, right? But the whole point of having faith is just believing without having to have all that proof.
Right.
So you almost have to just do that to yourself,
Right.
right? You're already good at your faith.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
You
It's a
have all the skills,
Right.
right?
It's a confidence thing.
It's now put those skills into the thoughts that you just irrationally believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like egotistical, or it doesn't have to be like, it can be very, what's the word I want? Intimate to yourself. Like no one has to know you're saying all these like, kind of like pumping your own tires in your head.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's very powerful.
Yeah,
It's
I think
very
so.
powerful.
I know what you're saying though, with like the faith analogy. It's like, because you don't have proof of a higher power, but you would, since you don't have complete proof, there is like there's an element of faith there that connects the dots.
Yes.
When I think what's happening, I'm seeing this now myself. It's like when, if there's a moment that I'm mentally weak in, the problem is between the current moment and then me being successful with what I'm trying to be successful with, I'm looking for evidence and there's a gap.
Yeah.
And I'm lacking the faith.
Which is,
right? I'm lacking that gap. When like being hyper confident, you bridge that gap.
Yeah. It's almost like, because my brain doesn't need the evidence.
It's irrational.
Exactly. Like for you, but knowing you, how you are, like say I say anything to you, you're always like, okay, show me proof. Okay, like most of the time, right? Because that's just how your brain works.
Right.
Mine, I guess, is already predispositioned to work favorably towards the irrationality of the self-confidence.
I agree. And I think in your case, in a lot of situations, it actually works in your favor.
Yeah.
I think for me,
ignorance is bliss.
I've started to move away from that. I'm
not ignorant. Maybe.
Probably to a degree, but it's probably actually more happy. It's actually more blissful, So less stress, more bliss.
Yeah, it's about stress management.
Yeah.
Everything boils down to that.
But it is like, yeah. I'm captivated by like people like yourself who inspire me a lot in that realm of like just being like just relentlessly sure of yourself.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And that's what I love about like following. I haven't really followed sports in like a bunch of years, but like when I come across the stories of different athletes now, that's what I find I get attached to. Yeah. Is like their mental game and their kind of process of like how they manifest success or how they manage failure afterwards or whatever.
And you can see, so all these like Netflix shows we're watching, the tennis one, was it Breakpoint? The golf one.
Yeah.
What's that one?
Full Swing.
Full Swing and Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
The athletes at the top, you can see the difference.
Yeah, 100%.
You can see the difference.
100%.
So in F1, Max Verstappen, that guy I'm going to win. That's all he believes.
Right.
Right. Whereas you see the other guys that you can see the doubt. In the tennis one, that couple one couple where she was losing and she was like showing all that loss and the other guy was winning and he's just like, it must be so hard, right? Because you want to be around people that are like, have that same belief as you because it makes you believe in yourself even more.
For sure.
Right? Like I don't want to be around people that are like, I just can't because it brings me down.
You've leveled me up for that, right?
Yeah.
I'm around you.
You have improved a lot.
For sure.
A lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my story on that.
Yeah.
When I was working at Popeye Supplements.
Yeah.
Slanging protein powder and veggie greens.
Slang.
Just straight slanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used Veggie C's.
I don't know what that one is.
Oh, it was
sounds like an inferior product.
It was
to
just
what
like
I was selling. My product is better.
Veggie greens and Veggie C's were.
Mine was better. No, I wasn't selling.
I win.
Good.
This is positive. I like this. Yeah, you do win. Say that every day to yourself.
Okay, so
nailed it.
okay, see, there we go. The student has surpassed the teacher.
Yeah.
So class is in session. Sit down.
Yeah. Wax on, wax off.
So there was a fellow that used to come into the store, and he was like in his mid-50s, biker guy, great voice, such a good voice.
Better than yours?
It was so good.
Yours is the best.
Nope. His was better. Mine's good. His was better.
Yours is the best.
Mine will be better than his when I am mid-50s.
You have to irrationally believe.
You need
more cigars.
I need it to be well aged. I need experience and good age, some years behind my voice.
Okay.
His had some. And
is it just yelling at your children?
No, he was loud, but it was like, I remember telling this, I was like, dude, you need a podcast or something. You have a great voice. I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Do they have
but he had a
podcasts
big
back
character.
then when you were working there in the Stone Age?
Let me tell the story, okay? So he comes in and he's like, this was when Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter, right, was kind of on his up and up. So he was kind of the main guy for UFC right now. So he was getting promoted nonstop. With all of his fights going on. So he comes in, he's like, you guys watching the fight Saturday or whatever? We were talking about it. And he's like, that Conor guy's an asshole or an arrogant asshole. I think he called him arrogant, right? And I'm like, interesting that I noticed this back then. This is probably the first time I ever noticed this that I can think of. And I remember thinking, because at the time I was a fan of Conor and I knew why I was a fan. I figured out what it was about him that I liked, and I was attracted to the untethered, irrational confidence that was just like relentless. And it came off as arrogant to some people. But like I saw it and it made me feel better. It made me feel strong. It made me feel more powerful. It made me feel more capable. So I was like, oh, I like this. So then I became more attracted to that energy and I was a fan, you know? And I remember him saying that and I kind of challenged him on it and he was kind of triggered by it. And I was like, I think what is going on there, I realized this after, I was like, I think if you're kind of a loser, just mentally in general, and probably actually in life, but like you're kind of a loser, you kind of get, you get a little triggered by like people who maybe are a little bit more confident because it doesn't, I don't know, it kind of calls you out unofficially in a way. Yeah. You kind of realize by juxtaposition that you are not capable or not as good as they are or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Not willing.
Yeah, I don't know. But it doesn't align in some way and they don't like that. Maybe because they realize, I don't know. It forces them to kind of like assess themselves and be like, oh, I don't think like that. Why not? Okay, well, I'll just call him arrogant. You know what I mean? Instead of choosing to be inspired, I can now call that guy arrogant. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I don't have to change myself. Yeah. Right? I don't have to change my thought patterns. Yeah. I don't have to change my self-talk.
Bring everyone down to the easier level so that they don't have to level up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll just pull you down instead of me thinking like, oh, I could just choose to be inspired. Yeah. And I remember talking to him about that and he didn't like it. But that was probably one of the first times I recognized that. And I saw it and I was like, I like this. Yeah. This is making me feel better about myself. But I realized it was only making me feel better because I chose it. Like I did have to be open to that. Yeah. I could have very easily, and maybe historically I'd done this in the past. I don't have a story for it or an example, but like I'm sure I've done that before where I probably, this fellow that I'm, I guess, making fun of or using as a poor example, it's like I probably was that guy. Yeah. You know, at some point. I'm sure there was an example
that you saw someone and you were like,
I just like,
oh, they're so arrogant.
Yeah, instead of choosing to be inspired.
They're so self-absorbed.
Yeah, exactly. You just assign something negative to them.
Oh, they, actually, I remember, I'm pretty sure, she might say I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure my mom once said to me like, or she'll say like, your ego's getting too big for this, or your head's getting too big for this house or something like that. Sorry, Mom, if I'm wrong, but, it's like, cause you can feel the confidence from me. Like some people, they'll call it ego and sometimes ego is taken as a bad thing. Well, and I think you have a big ego. Right. That's not really necessarily a bad thing.
Totally. Ego's not necessarily like ego serves a purpose, right? So it's like, it does have a negative connotation. It has a negative connotation. It's like, no, if you didn't have your ego, you would just die or kill yourself. Yeah. Because there's no reason to make decisions to keep you alive. Like you do need an ego.
Hashtag self-love. But like in the literal sense.
And in the cool, not cringe sense.
Yeah. Love yourself and
Yeah.
believe in yourself.
Yeah, legit.
That's cool.
Because
that's what they
negative
should tell
self-talk is a reflection of lacking that.
Yeah, and it's a reflection of a lot of things. Yeah. Like what we said earlier, environment,
Mhm.
people you surround yourself with. Maybe if you're abusing substances,
Yeah.
because you need to feel good.
Yeah.
If you're not using that substance anymore and you sober up,
Yeah.
you feel bad again,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
that's the spiral of addiction, really.
Yeah. And then a lot of that is like a mental fight. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's any takeaway from this, believe in yourself, believe in others, and subscribe to our podcast.
I thought you were writing a Hallmark card. I was like, oh my goodness.
No, I'd be better than that. Dear Timothy. You can find me at Slays Fit.
You can find me at Tim_MSHC. You can find the show at Stay Peaked.
Stay
Send us a
Peaked.
message, tag us, share us on your social media. If you like the show and you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and then leave a comment below. And if you are listening on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere else, please leave a rating. As it's the end right now and you're still listening, the show is played. Go rate it. Takes you 2 clicks, easy peasy. And then, throw it up on the social media and tag us. Thanks for listening, guys. See you later.